It's Christmas morning. You're 8 years old. There's a box under the tree with your name on it. You tear it open, and there it is. The most popular toy of the year. The one every kid at school was talking about. The one all the commercials showed happy families playing with in the backyard. Your parents bought it because it was on the shelves, because it had been approved, because someone, somewhere, was supposed to make sure it was safe. But what nobody told you, what nobody told them, is that this toy had already killed children. And the people selling it knew, and they kept selling it anyway. Today we're talking about lawn darts, a backyard game that sat in millions of American homes for over 20 years, a product the industry fought to keep on shelves, a toy that took years to get banned, while emergency rooms kept filling up with kids who had metal spikes buried in their skulls. This isn't a manufacturing accident. This is a story about how money buys silence, and how one dad, with nothing left to lose, took on an entire industry and actually won. So, what exactly were lawn darts? Picture this, a set of four oversized darts, about a foot long, with a heavy metal spike at the front and plastic fins at the back. The idea was simple. You'd set up two plastic rings on the ground, step back about 30 feet, and try to toss the darts into the rings. Like horseshoes, but with giant metal spikes flying through the air. It sounds insane when you say it like that. But in the 1970s and 80s, lawn darts, sold under brand names like Jarts, Javelin darts, and Skydarts, were a staple of American backyards. Summer cookouts, family reunions, 4th of July, you've probably seen them in old home videos without even realizing what they were. The game was fun, adults loved it, and the packaging even said it was for adults, not for children. Here's the problem. You can't put a giant metal dart in a backyard full of kids and expect them not to pick it up. You can't sell something at Toys R Us, Kmart, and Sears, right next to the frisbees and the hula hoops, and then act surprised when a 7-year-old grabs one. Because that's exactly what happened, over and over and over again. The Consumer Product Safety Commission, the CPSC, actually tried to restrict lawn darts back in 1970, then again in 1982. Both times, the industry pushed back. Lobbyists, lawyers, arguments that the warnings on the box were sufficient, that parents were responsible for supervising their kids. The darts stayed on shelves, and kids kept getting hurt. By the mid-1980s, the CPSC had documented over 6,700 lawn dart injuries treated in emergency rooms across the United States. 6,700, and at least 3 confirmed deaths, all of them children. But the number that changed everything was 1. Her name was Michelle Snow. She was 7 years old. In April of 1987, she was playing in her front yard in Riverside, California, while some neighborhood kids were throwing lawn darts in the backyard. One dart sailed over the fence. It struck Michelle in the head. She died 3 days later. Her father, David Snow, was devastated. But he didn't just grieve. He got angry, and then he got to work. David Snow became a one-man crusade against lawn darts. He wrote letters. He showed up at CPSC hearings. He collected injury reports. He contacted the press. He did everything a regular person with no legal team, no lobbyists, and no corporate backing could possibly do. And he refused to stop. The industry, meanwhile, kept arguing the product was safe if used correctly, that the real problem was irresponsible parents, that a ban would be government overreach. You've heard that argument before, haven't you? It took David Snow 18 months of relentless pressure, but on December 19, 1988, the Consumer Product Safety Commission voted to ban the sale of lawn darts in the United States entirely. Not restrict them, not add more warning labels, ban them. Stores were given 30 days to pull them from shelves. And just like that, after nearly 2 decades, thousands of injuries, and at least 3 dead children, it was over. Except, it wasn't. The ban was real. The law was on the books. Lawn darts could no longer be manufactured or sold in the United States. But here's the thing about banned products. They don't just disappear. Millions of sets were already out there, in garages, in storage units, in attics, and almost immediately, a secondary market exploded. People started selling their old lawn dart sets at garage sales, flea markets, and, once the internet arrived, on eBay and Craigslist. The CPSC was very clear. The ban applied to resale too. It didn't matter if you were a store or a random person at a swap meet. Selling lawn darts in the US was illegal, but try enforcing that. For years, sets changed hands for 50, 100, sometimes $300 for a vintage unopened box, sold openly, publicly, with listings that didn't even try to hide what they were. The CPSC sent warnings, issued press releases, got eBay to pull listings periodically. The listings came right back. And then there's the part nobody really talks about. While the US banned lawn darts in 1988, Canada didn't ban them until 1989, and plenty of other countries never banned them at all, which meant that for a window of time, you could still walk into certain Canadian stores right across the border and buy a brand new set. And here's the twist that should make your stomach drop. Some of those post-ban sets made their way back into the US anyway, not through some shadowy black market operation, through ordinary people, through garage sales, through well-meaning grandparents who had no idea the dusty box in the shed was a banned product. The ban worked, mostly. Lawn dart injuries dropped dramatically after 1988, but the sets never truly went away. Right now, today, if you search hard enough, you can probably still find a set. And somewhere out there, there's a kid who's never heard of Michelle Snow, standing in a backyard, holding one. So what do we actually take from this story? It's easy to look back and think, obviously you don't sell metal spikes to families with kids. Obviously you pull the product the moment children start dying. But that's the trap of hindsight. Because at the time, there were real people, smart people, educated people, people in suits with briefcases, standing in front of regulators and arguing with straight faces that the warnings on the box were enough, that the data wasn't conclusive, that a ban would set a dangerous precedent. And they almost won. Twice. What actually changed things wasn't a regulator having a revelation. It wasn't a corporation suddenly growing a conscience. It was a father, a regular guy from California who lost his daughter and decided that the only thing he could do with that grief was turn it into action. David Snow didn't have lawyers. He didn't have a PR team. He had a story, and he told it to anyone who would listen, and he kept telling it until someone finally did something. That's the real lesson here. Products don't get pulled because systems work perfectly. They get pulled because someone refuses to let it go. The next time you see a recall notice, or a safety warning, or a product suddenly disappearing from shelves, there's almost always a person behind it. Someone who lost something. Someone who got angry enough to do something about it. Remember their name. Because the toys on the shelves today, they've been tested. They've been reviewed. Regulators have signed off on them. Just like they signed off on lawn darts. If you made it this far, you already know how this channel works. We find the objects, the products, the things that seem ordinary, and pull on the thread until the whole story unravels. If this one got under your skin, there's plenty more where that came from. Hit subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.